Oh, well, that's a little disappointing. I thought that would have been randomized. Hello, everyone. We are back, continuing the Nuzlocke. So much happens this time. It is quite a lot, so we are gonna get right into it. We now have a trial on Nino, which is just a standard battle. Nino starts with sending out a Caracosta, so I send out Jolt. Use a Plasma Fist to do quite a bit of damage to them, breaks about half, they go for a Shell Smash, and I'm just gonna go for a Discharge, which takes out this Sea Turtle. Goodbye. But then they send out a Zygarde, so I decide to swap to Onion Ring, but when I go for a move, they use a Z move immediately. This Z move almost takes out Onion Ring, but they hold up a little bit more HP, so I get Draining Kiss, which breaks back almost all their HP. And then I go for another Draining Kiss, after almost getting taken out again, but doing the same thing. And one more Draining Kiss takes out Zygarde. They then send out a Venipede, but I decided to swap to Ringman, but little did I know this thing was about Imposter. But so we both go for the same move, Phantom Force, but they go first, meaning I am able to get the kill on them because they went first, making me win. Oh, now we also have to fight like all the other captains to get flowers. Yay! We now are having a rematch with Captain Lima, which was the first captain we fought along our journey. Captain Lima starts by sending out Umbreon, so I send out Jolt. I go for a Discharge, it doesn't really do a lot. And then I go for a Plasma Fist to try to do a little bit more damage, which brings them to half. And then I go for a Slash, which doesn't do anything. I don't know why I went for Slash, so I decided to go for another Plasma Fist, which takes out their Umbreon. And then we get a little bit of level ups, because, you know, level ups are always good. They send in a Pinsir. I decide to keep Jolt in. I go for a Slash. Does a lot more than it did to the Umbreon. And then I go for another Slash. And one move almost takes Jolt out entirely. But we were able to get a switch, so we swapped to Onion Ring. We went with a Draining Kiss to get some of the HP back on the switch. But they didn't go down, so we went with a Tri-Attack to finish them. And then they sent in their last, which was an Axorus. This Axorus wasn't really a problem on the Draining Kiss, which got most of our HP back. And then they went with a Z move, but a status one, which doesn't matter because one more Draining Kiss takes them out, winning us the battle. Yay, that gives us another petal! Now we move on to the next captain, which is Captain Mallow. This fight kind of went the same way, but they had a Terrakion. Notice if a lot of them are going to have legendaries. But this one's going for an interesting strategy. They keep using Sword Stance, so I'm gonna have to definitely take out this thing quick and go for Pebble Blizzard, which does a little bit, and they go for another Sword Stance. So I decide it'd probably be best to use my Z moves so they don't just immediately take me out, because that could be quite a problem. So Bloom Doom takes their Terrakion out. And we're gonna change Toast Flamethrower. They send out Marowak, so I'm just gonna send out Ice Dog. Ice Dog's gonna use an Aurora Beam, which does a little bit, but this Marowak has Speed Boost, so I decided I'm just gonna swap back into Onion Ring, so Ice Dog doesn't get taken out because they're a little bit weaker. And then go for a Draining Kiss, which almost takes out the Marowak, so one more should be enough to take them out. There we go. A little bit more level ups. They sent in Meowth, so I'm gonna go with Toast, because Toast needs a little bit more XP and just pretty much a free KO here. With a Dragon Range, which almost takes him out, then I go for a Flying Press, which takes him out, winning us the battle. Yay, the green petal is ours! Next up, we have to fight Kiawe. Kiawe starts by sending out Rampardos. I have Jolt as the leading, so I have to make a switch immediately, so I swap to Onion Ring. I may present it, but which does quite a bit of damage. I go for a Trading Kiss, which doesn't really do anything, but I get hurt because of their ability, which was quite a surprise. So I decide to go for Ice Dog. Ice Dog goes for a Aurora Beam, which doesn't really do anything. So I decide to swap it again and go for Ringman, because Ringman does quite a bit of damage, so go for Phantom Force, and that takes them out. Now I just count on Ringman to do some decent damage. They send out a Marshadow, so I go for Phantom Force again, which takes them out instantly, which is great because Marshadow is pretty strong. So I go for a Puncher. I decide to go back to Jolt and go for a Z move, you know, just for the laughs, even though I could have easily taken this thing out with an ult move. I thought it would have been funny. And we win, giving us the next flower petal. Now we move on to the next captain, which is Sophocles. This battle against Sophocles is pretty easy. They send out a Jinx, I use Jolt, and I go for a Discharge, which doesn't really do a lot. So I decided I'm gonna go for a Volt Switch, so I can't really get a lot of damage off. So I'm gonna go with Ringman, and Ringman goes for a Phantom Force. That Phantom Force takes them out. And next they send in a Diglett, which kind of crazy how bad their team is. They go for a Z move. Doesn't do that much. Just the standard amount Ringman always takes. And they send it in the shop. So I swap to Ice Dog. So, because one attack could take them out. Go for a Tri-Attack. And I go for another Tri-Attack. And then I go for an Aura Beam, taking them out, winning the battle. Yay! That means we get another flower. We meet up with Nanu again. He just gives it to us. No battle. Easy, I guess. This totem fight was definitely the hardest one. It's a Floatzel. You'd think it'd be easy, but this thing's stats were actually insane. I start with a Slash. I don't know why I started with the Slash. They get a Pelipper, but they transform into Zera Aura, which is a huge problem. Discharge doesn't really do a lot. But I got the Floatzel paralyzed, so that's pretty cool. I go for a Volt Switch, and then I send in Onion Ring. And they take quite a bit of damage, but not on. So I was gonna go for move, then we lost Onion Ring. Can't believe it. I go back in with Jolt, and then Jolt gets taken out too. This thing's so fast. I like generally don't know what to do. I tried to go for a Z move, and I got taken out again. Ringman on 2. And then we sent in Toast. I tried to go for a move, but I was able to take out the Floatzel using Toast. The Floatzel is the hugest problem here. I decide I'm gonna swap to Puppet. This Puppet hasn't gotten any use yet. But fortunately, they were too slow. Didn't get any damage in at all. Decided to go for Toast again. I try to get one move in. They get taken out too. It's all up to Ice Dog. Really bad matchup here. The Discharge almost takes them out, but the Tri-Attack freezes them, meaning I'm able to get off a lot of damage and they cannot fight back. Because of this little bit of luck on that Frozen, we were able to win with only Ice Dog breaking. We might have lost almost all of our team, but we have obtained another Z Crystal. Yay! After doing a lot of team building again and retraining some of the previous Pokemon I had caught, I decided I haven't gone through the portals to catch anything, so why not get myself an Ultra Beast? We went with Buzzwole because he's pretty strong, but yeah, we're gonna add him to the team. But since that other trial we had was really rough, we had to pretty much redo the entire team. Some other stuff I caught came in great handy here, so that's great. But now it's time we face the final grand trial. A booster to the Toxapex. This Toxapex was quite annoying to deal with. I used Tri-Attack, didn't really do anything. I used a Shadow Ball, didn't really do much either. I decided it's better to just swap to Buzz, because Buzz has pretty high damage outputs compared to everybody else right now. Go for a Light Screen. Go for Poison Jab, doesn't really do a lot. Then I go for a Hammer Arm, doesn't really do a lot either. And I go for a Dynamic Punch. Brings them to about half HP, and they get to take a little bit of confusion damage. I decided I'm gonna go for a Z move to take care of this Toxapex, and Iolite Plummeting is a pretty strong move. And down goes our Toxapex. Next I send in a Pidove, which is kind of funny. I send in Ice Dog. I decided to go for an Aurora Beam, but they go for a Z Tailwind. Kind of a wasted Z move. But then that Aurora Beam takes them out instantly. And we get some levels, Excellence, Light Screen. And then they send in Incineroar. I decided to keep Ice Dog in. I'm gonna go for a Water Pulse. I thought it would have done more damage, but it didn't really do anything. So I decided to swap. I swapped it Amba. One Thrash does a lot of time. I try to go for an Upper Tail, but it misses. So I gotta swap to Eggs. I decided it would be better to at least get a safe turn, maybe do a little bit of stalling, because they're confused, but they got outsped and immediately went down. Wow. And we send in Buzz. I go for a Dynamic Punch, they miss. This Incineroar is quite fast. I go for another Dynamic Punch, which takes out their Incineroar. And we get some more levels, and then they send out an Aciglor. I decide to send Bell in. I'm gonna try to make him go to sleep. I'm able to hit my first sleep powders, so that makes defeating this Aciglor pretty easy using Flying Press. Just 2 Flying Presses is enough to take this thing out, winning us the battle. Now we have completed our final grand trial. We also find an Agonado, which is the evolution of purple over here. Pretty cool. We also have a surprise battle with Gladion. I don't even remember this fight, so this one definitely caught me by surprise. Gladio was pretty annoying to deal with this time, even though he started with a Meowth. So we send an Ice Dog, I go with an Aurora Beam, which does quite a bit of damage. And then I use a second Aurora Beam, which takes out their Meowth. And we get some XP, like usual, and they send a Levani. I decided I'm going to try to put them to sleep, but I keep forgetting a lot of the grass types are literally unaffected by Sleep Powder. I was going to go for Flying Press, but Bell immediately got taken out, so I lost Bell. Then for Buzz, go for 1-1, which takes them out. No, why I didn't do that first. I clearly wasn't thinking here. They go for a Rain Shadow, so I try to go for a Z-move, take this thing out as fast as possible, but they use Bounce, so the Z-move just completely messes. I just have to swap out so I don't get taken out by the Bounce. Chumba takes a little bit of damage here. I try to go for a Dragon Rush, but they continuously use Bounce over and over again. So hitting this thing, because of its speed, pretty much prioritizes like everything. Nothing I have is faster than this thing. Ace Purple to try to get a Toxic off from them. I'm surprised that it actually hit. Poisoning their main shown, so they do have a chance here. But the balance hits and paralyzing, but I still had a Poison Jab. And now I just need them to bounce one more time, and they get taken out because of the hail. And we get a bunch of XP and Nasty Plot on Big. And they send in a Super Strike us, so I decided I'm gonna go with Buzz again. Because Buzz is pretty good with attacking. It's just not really good defensively. So I go for a Dynamic, which takes their Zeep Strike out, winning us the battle. That was definitely more scary than I thought it would be. This is where we're gonna end this time. I got a little bit more training I gotta do, and then I believe next time we take on the Elite Four. I can already just imagine that's gonna be quite the challenge. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't, make sure to like and subscribe. Bye-bye.